I am B. Nathaniel Smith, aka The Keynote. Leaders, I want to talk to you for a moment about a phrase I used a while back on LinkedIn and on my Twitter. And I talked about you don't need an overhaul, you simply need a do-over. So the title of this piece is you don't need an overhaul. You don't need to retire. You know, we don't need to, you don't need to go to the junkyard. You just need a do-over. You just need a couple of things fixed up as it relates to your leadership and your ability to inspire others. So I relate this specific topic, you don't need an overhaul, you simply need a do-over, to parts of a vehicle that are required in order to keep the vehicle running. A vehicle's paint can chip, your spark plugs might need to be changed, you might need a timing belt. You have a couple of miles on you as a leader. So it's time that you get serviced. So 5 things I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm going to relate them to parts of or components of a vehicle that you might or might not be familiar with, but after this particular video clip, you will. So let's talk about the first one, an oil change. We need you to be serviced. So an oil change, what's the purpose of an oil change? An oil change is to lubricate portions of the vehicle and the engine so that everything continues to operate well. Well, as a leader, you need an oil change in your mind. You need to make sure you are reading. You need to make sure you are researching. You need to make sure you are developing your mind and your skill and your talent so that you are experienced and that you are a professional. So you must read more, lubricate your mind. You must go to meetings where people pour into you, lubricate your mind. You must be able to apply what you're learning, lubricate your mind. You need an oil change of the mind every so often just to keep things clean and fresh and to remove any impurities. Number 2, timing belt. Now, the interesting thing about a timing belt is that a timing belt coordinates reactions between not so much just reactions, but rotations. So a timing belt coordinates rotations between the crankshaft and the engine's camshaft so that the engine's valves and pistons move in sync. Well, a timing belt for the leader is related to your health. You must make sure you are healthy. You must eat right. You must drink water. You must get vitamins in your system. You have to rest your body. You have to rest your mind. But you also need to exercise your body. So you need to, if you're going to travel and if you're going to be speaking and if you're going to be inspiring, if you're going to be sharing people, then you need to make sure you take care of your gift and your instrument, which is your voice. So you need to make sure you're drinking tea and you need to make sure you have herbs and vitamins. You need to make sure you're eating right because you have to endure the profession of public speaking and of developing leaders and of speaking for long periods of time and for being in multiple cities with different time zones. All of this puts a wear and tear on your body. The timing belt says for a car, we need to make sure everything operates in sync. For the speaker, be healthy. Smoothies and milkshakes with nutrients, eating your vegetables and healthy foods, healthy diets, less sugar, more veggies, more fruit. These are things that will help you sustain the duration of what you need. Remember, you have some miles on you. But you don't need an overhaul. You simply need a do-over. Number 3, washer fluid. Washer fluid for a car helps to remove debris, bugs, stains, rains, water spots, things of that nature, so that your scope and your vision is right. Washer fluid for a car parallels to a leader because as a leader, you have to have vision. You need to be able to see afar off. You need to be able to forecast. You can only forecast and you can only have scope and vision when everything is clear. Number 4, coolant. Coolant for a car Coolant, antifreeze, the terms can be used synonymously. Coolant or antifreeze for a car, if it's hot, you want to be able to cool you in the car down by turning on the AC. When it's cold, you want to be able to turn on the heat so that it warms you in certain weather. Well, coolant for a vehicle parallels to a leader. It simply means being level-headed. Leaders, you need to know how to be cool in hot situations, and you need to know where to turn up the heat when things get too cold and there's no movement, where it seems lifeless. Leaders, be level-headed. Very important. And number five is about spark plugs for a car. Now, spark plugs for a car, they ignite and they initiate a combustion. The combustion triggers a reaction that then provides a certain level of energy for things to run in the vehicle. And spark plugs go in certain places. There are different kinds of spark plugs and all the above. Nonetheless, it still creates a reaction that brings a combustion that produces energy. Leaders, you are someone's spark plug. You are someone's inspiration. You are someone's chemical reaction. You are someone's energy. And if you're going to lead people well, you have to be inspirational and do so. Don't just motivate people, because if you motivate them, they're going to need you there all the time. But when you inspire people, you pull out of them what's already there. So in absence, they can still operate because you've inspired them to greatness. Leaders, you don't need an overhaul. You simply need a do-over. You need an oil change of the mind. You need a timing belt to make sure your health is right. You need washer fluid so that you have vision and scope so that you can forecast. You need coolant or antifreeze so that you can be level-headed. And in hot situations, be cool. In cold situations, turn up the heat. And you need spark plugs. You need to be able to trigger a reaction that provides energy so that things can run. People need you as their inspiration. So inspire. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.